In section 2.2, the second half, the equation for the quadratic can be in x-intercept form instead of standard form. And x-intercept form is in a form that looks like this. Now, it's called x-intercept form because when your y is 0, x can equal p or q, and that would also turn the right side 0 because anything times 0 is 0. So that's why that your p value is going to be an x-intercept and your q value is an x-intercept. If you know that these two are your x-intercepts, the vertex is going to occur exactly halfway between those x-intercepts because you have symmetry in a parabola. Left side's the same as the right. So to find out the axis of symmetry, you find the average of p and q, which is p plus q divided by 2. So if the question is to graph and label, first of all, you're going to know that your x-intercept is going to be at -3 and 1. So you know the parabola is going to go through these two. You also know that your axis of symmetry is where its x is equal to -3 plus 1 divided by 2, which is the average, and that's going to equal a -1. You can kind of see that that makes sense going through here. So you know that your vertex is at -1, but you don't know the y-coordinate of that vertex. So if I put in -1 into the equation, you end up with this, and now multiplying it out is this, so that equals, let's see, 8, and the two negatives equal a positive, so that's equal to 8. So therefore, it's -1, 8 is going to be way up here. Now, you know it opens down because this is negative as well. So the axis of symmetry is this, the vertex is this, and the graph looks like this. You could do the same thing for these graphs as well, just thinking about the x-intercepts. You have x is equal to -1 and -5 in this case. So you know that the x-intercepts would go through there, and you know it's going to be a negative, so it's going to look something like this. I'm not really finding the vertex in this one, just giving you the general idea of the shape. Also 6, 2, let's say that's 6 and that's 2, and you know it's going to go up. General shape looks like this. Of course, that vertex is not found. You'd have to find that out. Let's jump to a word problem, and the word problem talks about the game, a wonderful game of golf. And so you have two shots. The first shot looks like this, and the second shot is a function like this. The question is, which shot travels farther before hitting the ground? On the first shot, it traveled 100. In this case, it's going to have 0 as its x-intercept and 80 as its x-intercept. So we know that it's going to look something like this. So I know that the first shot is going to travel farther because it went 100 yards, and the second shot went 80 yards. Now, looking at the height is going to be this right here because that's the maximum height. It's the y-coordinate of the vertex. So I want to find what that vertex is so I can figure out what that y is. The average of 0 and 80 is 40, so I know that the x-coordinate is 40. Now, I really want to find out what is f of 40. So I'm going to put in 40 into this equation and figure out what that equals. So I'll just grab my calculator, negative 0.02 times 40 times a negative 40. And that shows me that this is equal to 32. 32 compared to 25, second shot travels higher because 32 yards is greater than 25 yards. It's fun to solve problems involving golf. That's it for now, and that was on factored form. So we have standard form and factored form of the quadratic.